video that's coming at some point. It's
the sun is shining, nice and bright. The birds are chirping,
and I'm excited.
Time to get ready
For another day.
No one can stop us. We gon' learn to play. Every day we learn and play.
We do our best, so we'll be great.
You do your best,
and I don't mind.
Hey,
so let's get ready.
Cause it's about that time.
Morning, you good. Morning, how do you do? Good. Time to be great. Good. Morning,
Your best to play. So start to say.
open your eyes.
Reach for the sky.
Morning to you. Good morning, how do you do?
hey.
Good morning to you. Good morning, how do you do?
Good morning, everybody. This is Rolling Out AM, the wake up call. I'm your host with my host of Cassidy in the city.
Good morning, y'all. What's poppin'? It's Friday.
Marshaw.
What's up, man? It's end of the week, man. We made it.
Wow, we made it. I don't know.
We made it, brother.
Did we make it or we making it? Because they show making history. These streets
Yeah.
are full.
It definitely is. We are making it. Every day is, it's a blessing. So take it as they come.
Okay.
So yeah, we want to definitely talk about what's happening in the streets across America. Of course, we're going to get into again George Floyd's memorial that occurred yesterday. Very powerful speeches from Ben Crump and of course the Reverend Al Sharpton. We're going to show some video of that later. But still across the nation, we still see protests. We still see individuals who are really dying for change, basically across the nation. So we hopefully that we can. This is going to move the needle forward in America.
Yeah, I definitely, I'm excited to talk about that. I'm excited for your report, but there is a lot going on, and I feel like this is gonna, make a change. I mean, we're on what day? We were on the 7th day yesterday of protest, I believe. And for people to still be going out in big numbers is, really impactful. I wouldn't have imagined, I don't know about you guys, that this would still be going on this day.
Well, I think for me, like I said yesterday, as far as the numbers, like I didn't imagine. You're right. The numbers that we've seen in the streets, like we've had protests when situations such as Trayvon Martin occurred, when Eric Garner occurred. We had similar situations where there were protests, but this is like a whole other thing where it's like inspiring people across the globe, or around the globe, to get involved and to be active in the fight against racial inequalities.
Agreed. And some of the cities like Denver and even Seattle, you wouldn't expect, those troves of people because they're not necessarily Black cities in our minds. But, on a lighter note, it's Friday. We're excited. We have some good music today. We're going to get you guys pumped up for the weekend, excited. It is also National Donut Day. Amir, you're probably not excited about this, but I am. I love Krispy Kreme, so I might have to go grab some.
Ooh, they're in controversy right now, Krispy Kreme. I mean, they are in a controversy right now. Clearly, we'll bring that to everybody. So think about where you go grab your donuts. We've got a great article. Did you do the article on the Black donut owner?
Yeah, Sublime Donuts.
Yeah. So if you want to get some donuts, make sure you think about the donut companies that are African American, that have relationships with African Americans. Just don't go buy donuts. Like, let's not be a donut. missing the whole hole. There is an issue brewing, and we'll bring it to you about Krispy Kreme because we definitely don't want to support those. But Sublime is located in Atlanta, but we're going to Google and find some more. I know there's some more donut. I'm going to find a donut owner in Chicago, those in Detroit, because we want to make sure that you support those small business owners. So don't just go to some franchise because actually support the community on National Donut Day. Great call.
I'm gonna get you a vegan donut, Cass.
All right, we'll see. We'll see.
You know, if you eat those donuts, man, so you gotta do some running after those donuts, man. They catch up with you.
I'm not thinking about any donuts, bro. I've done well. I haven't bought a whole lot of trash food. The idea of them, Cass, you should make me feel this way. I was feeling a little guilty practicing my acting, everybody. About having a donut, it does sound very good. One donut with coffee, cake donut, but it's okay. I got a cake coming from my mom, so I'm excited about that. And you're right, Cass. Cookies today is good. 535 10th Street, Northwest Atlanta. But I need more Black donut companies. So let's look at the donut companies in Chicago. Let's look at the donut companies, Black donut companies in Brooklyn. I know they're there. So we're going to bring that to you today. It is exciting day. But more from you, Amir Shah. I know you got some ideas on what we can do to have fun. Because Cass and I are going to come up with a list of books in the next hour of books you can actually read from African Americans who have books coming out. It's going to be exciting. This will be our Friday literature moment. We really are igniting the whole idea. We got a book club coming to you in July. So we're excited about our book club from blackbooks.com. So for all of you out there, know that we're here for you. And all those Black authors, you'll start to see authors show up on the Rolling Out AM. So Cass, thank you. You've been a phenomenal addition. And Amir Shah is a phenomenal author. For all of you that don't know, he's an author extraordinaire. Now he just needs to put on his mask and be a journalist.
Man, you know the crazy thing, man. I was like, man, if we weren't in a pandemic, I would definitely be on the front lines capturing this moment, man. Because I was on the front lines for Trayvon, Freddie Gray. I went to Baltimore, down to West Baltimore, and spoke to the people, man. That was probably one of the craziest scenes I've ever experienced. Of course, we've done some stuff down in Baton Rouge. So yeah, we've definitely covered moments where people have decided to do uprising. So I don't know, man. It's just we have to weigh our health at these moments. You want to really be around all these people and subject yourself to what could be COVID-19. So we can't forget that because the numbers are still going up. We don't want people to forget about that.
It's Friday and they are definitely thinking about a little barbecue at your house away from all of the protesters. How can you barbecue? It is definitely a wonderful time to figure out how that small barbecue. You got a small barbecue pit over there, Cass?
I have a grill.
Got a grill. Okay, Cass grills, you guys. So we should keep the faith for a second, or actually, I think we should find a funny video. That's what they said to let everybody know. See what Kevin on stage is saying. Maybe we can figure out what he's saying. But I really enjoy the fact that the weekend's coming up, and I am proud of the young people who have been out there. But you know what? You got 40 million unemployed people. They showing up to do the work in the streets. Good morning, Cecilia McGee. What's happening? How are you? Siobhan, good morning. We want to say hello. We love you. This is Rolling Out AM, the wake up call. Jamaica Lynch, good morning. You can do the rest, Cass, because I am.
Well, good morning to everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us. We have a video we're going to play real quick.
are you detaining me? You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job because you are detaining me for nothing. You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job. I'm Martinez. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job because you are detaining me for nothing. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job because you are detaining me for nothing. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job. You about to lose
What? Your
job.
club.
You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Is this shit worth you losing your job? Cause you about to. Cause you ain't got no reason.
Hey.
Come on,
She
Amir. How
turned
come
up
you
one
had them on
time,
the show
man.
this morning? We gotta bring them back Monday morning. The
Oh my
remix
goodness.
of "You About to Lose Your Job" sound like a hit to me. You about to lose your job.
Nah, she turned up one time. I ride out to that.
Well, let's get the producer on the show. That's exciting. That's
Yeah, we need to get her on, man.
Friday creativity we talk about, Cat. You about to lose your. Can you sing it with me, Cass? You about to lose your job.
What's so funny to me is, I mean, I love our people, our community, because we can turn nothing into something. We're so innovative. And I mean, literally just, we're so quick with the memes and everything, the video, the turnaround. It's just, when we turn it into a song, I mean, it's a whole music video.
I want to know them, Cass. I want to know them. I want to know them. You about to lose your job. You
Hey.
your job. Hey. Gotta find that producer, man. That is great.
I'm gonna find him, man. Cause
all right.
Yeah,
hey,
man.
Cass, let us go to the Cass in the City report. We got you. Thank you so much for being here. Everybody, this is rolling out the AM wake-up call.
Definitely. So today, another important day, even more important than, Donut Day, it's World Environment Day. This is a very big deal. This is our planet. This is our world. And it's very important that we are cognizant of how we impact it. So Whoopi Goldberg has joined the fight against climate change, one of the biggest threats to our existence, on the planet. And basically, she has teamed up with Extinction Rebellion to help shine a light on climate change and this crisis that we're dealing with. She's doing a 3-minute video that will be released today entitled The Gigantic Change. And it basically is a look back from 2050 till now. And it shows, how as a people we could come together and, change the world and save our planet. So that will be dropping today on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So we're going to look out for that. We'll definitely share that with you guys later. But shout out to Whoopi Goldberg for this, because this is a really important, issue that people don't talk about enough. Next up, we have Gabrielle Union. Obviously, we know she was previously on America's Got Talent. The actress has now filed a new, harassment, discrimination, and retaliation complaint against her former employee, NBC, and the producers of the show America's Got Talent. She previously was claiming that there was racism on set, and she, felt uncomfortable and that she was discriminated against. And in these new papers, that she filed with the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing in Los Angeles, yesterday, she alleged that the NBC Entertainment chairman, Paul Telledi, wanted to silence and intimidate her, about her claims when she said that things were racist on the show. So, I think this is big and it's very important for her to speak out. She wasn't always supported in her claims by others, but it's good for her to speak out and, speak her truth about this, because if there is racism, as we're seeing across the country, it needs to be brought to light, especially on a platform as big as NBC, which is a big network. Up next, we have Kanye West, y'all. So we haven't been hearing much from Kanye as we've gone through this moment of protest, and he's finally putting himself out there. He's gone very public with what he's doing. He's, putting his money where his mouth is. He's not really speaking at this point, but he's letting his money speak for him in his donation. So Kanye donated $2 million to George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery, who were all killed at the hands of police, unfortunately, and as a cause of police brutality. He also set up a college fund for George Floyd's 6-year-old daughter, Gianna. And this is great. I mean, I'm really proud of Kanye for this. This is really important. I don't, like we said yesterday, you don't always have to speak, but, you can always donate, to the cause. He's obviously a millionaire, might be a billionaire now, I'm not quite sure, but this is really important for him to, donate his funds. So I'm proud of him for this. You don't always have to use your voice. And he's not saying anything that could get him into any trouble right now, which I think is really important because he's faced a lot of backlash, over the past couple of years. So what do you guys think about this? Amir, we've talked about Kanye a lot,
Yeah, I'm just glad he didn't say anything. I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad that he went to the Chicago rally yesterday and he didn't have his MAGA hat. Because that would have been an automatic beat down in Chicago, even though he's from the Chi. So that's good that he's using his pockets instead of his voice. Like he's actually doing things that's going to be beneficial, because anytime he's decided to voice his opinion, it's always gone left over like the past 2 years. So this is the good job, Kanye. Continue to do this.
I think this is important, but we're super excited. It's Friday. Our DJ, Romeo International, is going to bring us a fire mix, I know. So let's get it,
You're about
Romeo.
to lose your job. You're about to lose your job. You're about to lose your job. The mayor is going to actually make you lose your job. 6 police lost their job. Great job, Mayor of Atlanta. Great job, all those mayors standing up. Why am I singing by myself? What are y'all doing? Right.
I'm waiting for Romeo to drop a beat. You guys hear me?
Now you gotta have. You about to lose your job. What? You about to lose your job. Have you been looking for that?
You know what?
Okay, the silence is killing me. Happy Friday, everybody. This is rolling out the wake-up call. Cassidy, I'm trying to get her to sing that new hit, You're About to Lose Your Job, which is on the charts and rising. Kanye West probably is going to do a guest feature. Future's probably going to get on there. You're About to Lose Your Job. Remix. Okay, the silence is killing me. Happy Friday.
Yeah, we need that remix.
Rolling out the wake-up call. Cassidy, I'm trying to
We are waiting on our DJ, Romeo International. He's getting his setup together. We're excited.
Faith, everybody, keep the faith.
Definitely, we got to keep our faith. Got to stay uplifted at this time.
Question is, when you're standing at a crossroads, what do you do? When a fork is in the road, what do you do? When the world is on your shoulders, what do you do? When your back is up against the wall, what do you do? What do you do? You hold on and keep the faith. Keep the faith. Keep the faith. Keep the faith. Where do you go when there's nowhere else to go? Where do you turn when there's nowhere else to turn? Where do you look when there's nowhere else to look? What do you do when there's nothing else to do? You're in the master's hand, and the master has a plan. Hold on, and keep the faith. Keep the faith. God has done it before. He can do it again. Praise God. Praise God. Victory is mine. Victory is mine. Victory is yours. Victory is ours. Keep the faith.
All right, rolling out AM, the wake up call. Cassidy.
Keep the faith. Absolutely. Very important message for us right now during these times. It's difficult for a lot of people. 43 million people are unemployed. So, we want to encourage people to stay connected to their spirituality during this time and stay uplifted. COVID-19 is going on. These protests, police brutality is, really prevalent right now. So we just want to encourage people to stay uplifted. So that's a great song that you can put on, to keep your faith.
Definitely, man. Speaking of keeping the faith, I want to definitely give a shout out to Breonna Taylor. Today is her birthday. She would have been 27 years old. Of course, this is the sister from Louisville who was shot and killed by police officers after a no-knock warrant. Today is her birthday, so we definitely want to celebrate her legacy. We can't forget about Breonna during this time.
Absolutely.
And there's been no rest in Louisville. And they shot a new restaurant owner, innocent man in his restaurant, shot by the police in Louisville. So the protest is an uprising, and everybody needs to use the proper term as we think about our community in the street. This is an uprising, and it has a purpose. So keep the purpose in your posts, keep the purpose in your prayers, keep all these purpose as we move for those young people. Figure out how you can support while people are out there in the streets. Think about what you can do, how you can participate. This is your moment. This is a key moment. It's a moment you've been waiting for. So get involved, get involved. I really want to make that happen. So this was an interesting thing that came up. Young lady wanted to explain the idea of activism and what really is here. So the interpretation, let's take a look at this.
I've been seeing a lot of things talking of the people making commentary. Interestingly enough, the ones I've noticed that have been making the commentary are wealthy black people making a commentary about we should not be rioting, we should not be looting, we should not be tearing up our own communities. And then there's been an argument of the other side of we should be hitting them in the pocket. We should be focusing on the blackout days where we don't spend money. But, I feel like we should do both. And I feel like I support both. And I'll tell you why I support both. I support both because when you have a civil unrest like this, there are three types of people in the streets. There are the protesters, there are the rioters, and there are the looters. The protesters are there because they actually care about what is happening in the community. They want to raise their voices, and they are there strictly to protest. You have the rioters who are angry, who are anarchists, who really just want to fuck shit up, and that's what they're going to do regardless. And then you have the looters. And the looters almost exclusively are just there to do that, to loot. Now, people are like, well, what did you gain? Well, what did you get from looting? I think that as long as we're focusing on the what, we're not focusing on the why, and that's my issue with that. As long as we're focusing on what they're doing, we're not focusing on why they're doing. And some people are like, well, those aren't people who are legitimately angry about what's happening. Those are people who just want to get stuff. Okay, well then, let's go with that. Let's say that's what it is. Let's ask ourselves why in this country in 2020, the financial gap between poor blacks and the rest of the world is at such a distance that people feel like their only hope and only opportunity to get some of the things that we flaunt and flash in front of them all the time is to walk through a broken glass window and get it. That they are so hopeless that getting that necklace, getting that TV, getting that change, getting that bed, getting that phone, whatever it is that they're going to get, is that in that moment when the riots happen and if they present an opportunity of looting, that's their only opportunity to get it. We need to be questioning that why. Why are people that poor? Why are people that broke? Why are people that food insecure, that clothing insecure, that they feel like their only shot, that they are shooting their shot by walking through a broken glass window to get what they need? And then people want to talk about, well, there's plenty of people who pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and got it on their own. Why can't they do that? Let me explain to you something about economics in America. And I'm so glad that as a child I got an opportunity to spend time at Push where they taught me this, is that we must never forget that economics was the reason that black people were brought to this country. We came to do the agricultural work in the South and the textile work in the North. Do you understand that? That's what we came to do. We came to do the agricultural work in the South and the textile work in the North. Now, if I right now decided that I wanted to play Monopoly with you, and for 400 rounds of playing Monopoly, I didn't allow you to have any money, I didn't allow you to have anything on the board, I didn't allow for you to have anything, and then we played another 50 rounds of Monopoly, and everything that you gained and you earned while you were playing that round of Monopoly was taken from you. That was Tulsa, that was Rosewood. Those are places where we built black economic wealth, where we were self-sufficient, where we owned our stores, where we owned our property, and they burned them to the ground. So that's 450 years. So for 400 rounds of Monopoly, you don't get to play at all. Not only do you not get to play, you have to play on the behalf of the person that you're playing against. You have to play and make money and earn wealth for them, and then you have to turn it over to them. So then for 50 years, you finally get a little bit and you're allowed to play. And every time that they don't like the way that you're playing, or that you're catching up, or that you're doing something to be self-sufficient, they burn your game. They burn your cards. They burn your Monopoly money. And then finally at the release and the onset of that, they allow you to play and they say, okay, now you catch up. Now at this point, the only way you're going to catch up in the game is if the person shares the wealth, correct? But what if every time you share the wealth, then there's psychological warfare against you to say, oh, you're an equal opportunity hire. So if I played 400 rounds of Monopoly with you and I had to play and give you every dime that I made, and then for 50 years, every time that I played, if you didn't like what I did, you got to burn it like they did in Tulsa and like they did in Rosewood, how can you win? How can you win? You can't win. The game is fixed. So when they say, why do you burn down the community? Why do you burn down your own neighborhood? It's not ours. We don't own anything. We don't own anything. Trevor Noah said it so beautifully last night. There's a social contract that we all have, that if you steal or if I steal, then the person who is the authority comes in and they fix the situation. But the person who fixes the situation is killing us. So the social contract is broken. And if the social contract is broken, why the fuck do I give a shit about burning the fucking Football Hall of Fame, about burning a fucking Target? You broke the contract when you killed us in the streets and didn't give a fuck. You broke the contract when for 400 years we played your game and built your wealth. You broke the contract when we built our wealth again on our own by our bootstraps in Tulsa, and you dropped bombs on us. When we built it in Rosewood and you came in and you slaughtered us. You broke the contract, so fuck your Target. Fuck your Hall of Fame. As far as I'm concerned, they could burn this bitch to the ground. And it still wouldn't be enough. And they are lucky that what black people are looking for is equality and not revenge.
Woo! But now
I didn't see any lie there. I mean, if we go back to the beginning of this country, America was founded on theft, from stealing of this land, from stealing the black bodies from, in Africa, bringing them here, to, like she said, like the once we got our foots in the door, the burning of Rosewood and brought the burning of Black Wall Street. So we've seen this pattern for centuries. And you're right, like does it equate to a tennis shoe or or looting a Target? But I want to talk about something as far as how wealth, she mentioned wealth and the disparities in wealth. During the pandemic, of course, we know that 40 million people are unemployed. But however, billionaires got richer. According to reports, billionaires made $434 billion richer since the pandemic began. So what does that tell you? People who were making money were still finding ways to make money while people were being laid off across the nation. So again, we still have this thing where it's like the income inequality gap is still growing in America. Like we're not stopping. And Munson, you and I had this discussion yesterday as far as like, how does billionaires get richer during a time when the economy basically stopped, but somehow they got richer. You brought up an interesting point. Tell us pretty much how billionaires get richer when the country and the economy stops. They get more money.
Well, if you've got money, you can invest. So most of the time, most people aren't prepared. We talk about savings, we talk about wealth. You've got to have money in order to get in the game. And that's what she was talking about as it relates to, they take your money. You don't have any money. You're living mouth to, hand to foot. So it's an issue that our community has. Obviously, the game changes each time. The rules change each time. So that you are there already with money. So you don't have to worry about it. If the stock's down, good, buy me some. Which way is the market going? They know in advance. Who's going to be laid off? We saw it in the Senate. You had real U.S. senators literally making trades because they knew the pandemic was coming. So what do you think the traders? Now, this is just senators. What about people who were not senators, whose investment bankers had the same information based on the trades that senators were making? He said, hey, how your clients doing? Oh, mine traded today. He thinks something's getting ready to happen in the economy. They need to investigate everybody's trades during that period because they always have insider information that we don't have. They can always get the plan and print and produce the PPP and know what's happening. Pull the truck up to the Treasury, get $20 million when everybody else, no. Nobody, some people didn't even get an invitation from their bank. Didn't say, would you consider? So they have insider information. It's not just good thinking. They have insiders inside. So it works.
So, I mean, it's that basic track theory. You ran track. So if I gave you, if you got a 50-yard head start, how am I going to catch up? Like, though, that distance is too great for us to catch up. How do you make that? How do you shorten that gap? Like, it doesn't happen. Like, you got to, how are you going to play the game? The game is rigged. It's rigged. So like you say, if someone is giving you information about, okay, these are the stocks to invest in, something major is about to happen, Why wasn't that information available to
No,
all of
it-
them?
it's even deeper because I know to get out of a stock.
Yeah.
I can get out of a stock that's at 100 because somebody says it's going to go down to 10. So now I got $1 million back. It goes down to 10. Now I got 10 million.
Yeah.
So whole different concept when you know what's getting ready to happen. You can get back in lower. It was at 100, but now you got in at 10.
Yeah.
Now you got more shares, 10 times more shares. On a lighter note, rolling out AM, Romeo International is prepared today to give us a real treat. It's Friday.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. What up, rolling out AM?
Good
What's
morning,
up, brother?
Romeo International.
Look, what's about to happen, AR, Cass in the City, and Munson Steve? It's Tigna's fault. It's the producer's fault, okay? I just want to say that out first before we get started because I wanted to make sure that we good to go and we get people in the right mood. So, y'all ready to have some fun?
Hey, man.
Let's do it.
I'm ready, bro. You
All right.
Ready.
Just to let you know. All right. So at first, I wasn't going to do it, but
people keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Big Joe, Romeo International. All right.
oh,
All right.
can y'all hear me? I think the sound went out. Hold on,
Turn it
hold on.
up some, Romeo.
Hold on, I think the sound went out. Did the sound go out?
It did.
gotta turn it up.
No, can't make it go out because I had something for Cassie.
Okay, we're sitting here.
I got a feeling I know what it is.
I just want to know if she's gonna dance, Romeo. I'm just waiting for this moment where she breaks out in a dance.
Every time we have a DJ, I dance, Munson.
I definitely think she's given up on that. I definitely think that she has given up on that part. Oh, rolling out AM. Trying to make the sound great for y'all, man, because we want y'all to have a good morning, great morning, wonderful morning. On this day, and did I just blow it?
All right. Sounds good.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right
We got
back.
a commercial break.
Amir
Commercial
Shah.
break. We're gonna come back.
Amir Shah, what is happening on your report?
Cool, man. Let's get to the report, man. So yesterday was a big day, man. We were very excited. They had a memorial service. When I first pull up the Al Sharpton video, we had a memorial service yesterday in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where several individuals, several prominent individuals such as Kevin Hart, T.I., Will Packer, Tiffany Haddish, they all came to support George Floyd and his family during the first memorial service that took place yesterday, and it was powerful. Ben Crump got a chance to voice his thoughts. Of course, Ben Crump, who's been on our show, he's the attorney for the family. I want to go right now to Al Sharpton's video.
The story of black folks, because ever since 401 years ago, the reason we could never be who we wanted and dreamed to be in is you kept your knee on our neck. We were smarter than the underfunded schools you put us in, but you had your knee on our neck. We could run corporations and not hustle in the street, but you had your knee on our neck. We had creative skills. We could do whatever anybody else could do, but we couldn't get your knee off our neck. What happened to Floyd happens every day in this country, in education, in health services, and in every area of American life. It's time for us to stand up in Georgia's name and say, get your knee off our neck.
Of course,
Yeah,
so that was the Reverend Al Sharpton. Powerful speech. He touched on racism in America, how it's impacted us for centuries, and definitely gave great insight to what's happening. I know Reverend Al Sharpton is a friend of the brand. Munson Steve, what was your thoughts on his speech yesterday at George Floyd's memorial?
Well, thanks, Amir Shah. Munson Steve here at Rolling Out AM. I think Reverend clearly has the details that many are missing when it comes to understanding that our educational system, they're benefiting from it, but we're losing. The economics, 5 out of 500 Fortune 500 companies are run by African Americans. That's a problem, America. The numbers are bad. The numbers are rigged. And you don't have a problem with the numbers. And I think even as this protest continues to grow, we've got to say and watch the numbers. We can't say, oh, we're happy with you, Facebook. We're happy with you, Twitter. We're happy with you, companies that don't have blacks on your board. Any company that doesn't have an African American, several African Americans on your board has a problem. Any company that doesn't have an African American executive team, any company that has an African American multicultural director that hasn't met with black-owned media and doesn't invite us to your corporation, they're racist. We don't have to wonder. You can stop giving yourself a pass because nobody else in the room has a problem with African Americans not being hired. Your HR person has a problem when the CEO and the CMO and the HR person has no African American owned PR firm, but you're doing PR. So Al Sharpton pointed out all the places that America still has their foot on our neck, and they're happy about it. We can't let off even Silicon Valley. We shouldn't be TikToking if we don't know how many TikTok executives are African American. Stop TikToking for free. You picking cotton when you're doing TikTok, and you don't know how many African Americans. We need to know how much and how many African American HBCUs are going to be endowed by Instagram and the amount of money that they're making. How many? And we shouldn't have to wait. You should be ashamed to steal from us. There has to be a consciousness in America. And that's what he was spiritually asking for, because we've got to make a request of America. Cassidy.
Definitely, I really enjoyed his speech myself. I think it was very powerful, and he, just bringing full circle to the foot on our necks was a really important point that I think he brought out. And even that young lady, the activist, speaking about, the 400 years, if we were playing Monopoly, I appreciated how she, described that and what we've been going through. So I think it was a very good point. If you haven't seen that in full, I think you should go back and watch the entirety of his eulogy.
Definitely. We have the eulogy on our website, rollingout.com. You can check out the entire memorial service. It's on our website right now. So definitely log on to rollingout.com right now to check out the entire memorial service. It was powerful. And one moment that I really like before we move on is the 9-minute pause that Reverend Al Sharpton told everyone to stand for 9 minutes and be silent. And that was the amount of time that Officer Derek Chauvin's knee was on George Floyd's neck. And you just see how long that 8 or 9 minutes is for you to have your knee on someone's neck.
Yeah, it was definitely an extremely long time to sit in silence and kind of reflect on everything. I took it as a moment. I was praying during that moment, but it was definitely, you sit there in silence and reflect on that. So it was definitely so long. It was unacceptable, absolutely, for anyone to be, especially while someone is saying they can't breathe. It was ridiculous, but I think that was a very powerful moment. And if you haven't done it, I think it's a good practice to do, to kind of put yourself in George Floyd's, state of mind, what he was going through at that moment.
I think it was also, Kaz, that was a great point, just to meditate in this moment. Like if you're wanting to be part of the change, then do the 9-minute change and meditate and pray each day during this uprising. I think that that's a beautiful element, how to take and bring the spirit of Floyd and our ancestors. Let us not forget that there are many who didn't get a picture, many whose pictures have been used in postcards and lynchings. This wasn't normal. This was lynching. And then it was digital lynching. For me, I just want people to stop playing the video. I don't want these news outlets playing the video anymore. We've seen it. We've seen it. We've seen it. Stop. It's disrespectful at this point for anybody to be playing and have that video up.
Definitely.
So, Cass, in the city, I know you have a guest that's coming that's going to give us some insight. You want to tell us about your guest?
Definitely. We have the founder of Mess in a Bottle, Kalila Wright, who will be joining us today. I'm excited to have her on for our Design and Dialogue segment. I believe she's coming on now, but as we talk about messaging and everything, she is using fashion. Hi, Kalila, to encourage messaging through fashion and clothing. So we just want to welcome you to the show. We're excited. We have our host, Romeo International, and Amir Shah on as well, and I'm Cass in the City. So we're excited to chat with you today about Mess in a Bottle. So just tell us a little bit about, yourself and your brand.
So Mess in a Bottle, we're a t-shirt company, and we put messages on t-shirts, and they come packaged in a reusable bottle. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, born in Jamaica, but I was raised in Brooklyn, and I currently reside in Baltimore.
Absolutely. So, I just wanted to talk with you a little bit about the inspiration behind creating this brand. In these moments, we're currently experiencing protests and everything. Messaging is so important, and we see messaging on clothing, we see messaging on signs. Why was it so important for you to bring a fashion brand to us with important messages, on clothing and apparel?
So Mess in a Bottle was actually birthed in 2015, shortly after the Freddie Gray riots in Baltimore, in which Freddie Gray, an African-American male, was also detained and killed, unfortunately, in police custody. And the riots happened in my Baltimore neighborhood. And for me, I was working at a fashion retail, sports apparel company, and I really wanted to create a way for people to have communication. And Message in a Bottle really stems from the 310 BC concept of receiving a message in an ocean. So this was my message. This was my way of giving a voice to the voiceless, and for people to be able to communicate even if they had no words. So very similarly to what is happening now with George Floyd, a lot of people, in our community, outside of our community, they want to protest, they want to yell, they want to be able to articulate themselves. And sometimes you're lost of words because this is, it's so devastating that we are continuously repeating this unfortunate cycle. So Mess in a Bottle is a great way for you to stand in solidarity with someone else by wearing a message.
Absolutely. Before we go on, and I know my other co-hosts have questions, I just want to pull up some photos of some of your designs so that people can kind of get an idea of what you were bringing to the table. So these are just, you know, a few of them. We see one here at the top that says big guy, big beard, bigger heart. You know, we see this young boy, a Black woman created this, you know, and you also have one here that touches on racism. I don't know if people can see it, and, you know, you can kind of expand on it if you'd like, but it touches on, you know, the racial climate and everything that's going on right now.
Yes. So this shirt, it says "This is America." So in red, and you know, it talks about racism, bigotry, and you know, unfortunately, I think that you know, this shirt was created in 2016, and it is so unfortunate that it is very relevant now, 4 years later. And you know, it just really shows the climate that we live in and how these things have not changed.
Absolutely. Romeo, do you have anything?
With your designs, and the way you know are able to touch into now, how do you like get there as a creator? Because you know a lot of people are just out of touch, period, right? But you found a way to be in touch with like the feeling of now. And that's one of the things that I loved about your design. I could see the feeling inside of the shirt.
Yeah. You know, I think for me, as a creative and as a designer, I was always sort of unsure as to, you know, where my voice would get me. And I always had really creative, like witty ways of saying things. And, you know, and I really understood now that I needed to give a voice to people. So I would say something, write statuses, write messages all the time, and people would say, I really like that. And so for me, I decided to start to use my voice more, and it really resonated. You know, I think even messages like a Black woman created this. You know, I have a lot of white counterparts, people who are like, can I wear this? And I'm like, of course you can. You know, that's the beauty of it. It's for us to, and a Black man can wear this because his mother created this. I created it for him. You know, there's just so much conversation that can happen around, you know, the messages that I create. And I think that that's the beauty of it. Though we are a unisex brand, you know, I created from a Black woman, a Black immigrant standpoint. You know, so the message we create, they come from, you know, my life and how I live.
Amir, you're on mute.
Sorry. You have a class, and if you could talk about your class, because starting a t-shirt brand or a fashion brand is a good way for Black individuals to get into the game when it comes to economics. It's a business model. So what do you teach in your class, and can you give us a little bit more insight on it?
So I decided to develop something called the T class. And what the T class is, we teach others how to actually create and make and start their own t-shirt company. Just like the founder was saying to you guys recently about like corporations and, you know, us holding the responsibility to really, you know, even employ Black people on our teams. You know, for me, I live in an urban neighborhood in Baltimore, Maryland. And right now, due to COVID and everything else that's going on in the world, you know, our kids are on the corners cleaning cars or cleaning, you know, they're on the street idle. They have nothing and nowhere to go. So for me, creating a t-shirt class and being able to either give back to my community and having people to be able to create income. You know, there's a lot of people who have lost their jobs recently. And I think that right now is definitely a time where we are starting to understand ownership, and we're starting to really understand, you know, why we need to put ourselves in the position to dictate our own future.
You're on mute, Cass.
Sorry about that, you guys. But before you go, I just, you know, as we approach Father's Day and everything, you know, and these holidays, I know you're creating these messaging. Is there anything you're designing for fathers, you know, to empower them at this time and make them feel special?
Yes, we have a couple of different messages for fathers. And one of the things we did explore this year, we created for Mother's Day a My Mom Was t-shirt. And so now we've created a My Dad Was. And so it says, my dad meant the world to me and still does. And I just really wanted to honor people who have lost their fathers or lost their mothers. And that's just a market that a lot of people are not tapping into. And I have a lot of friends, even due to COVID, that have, their parents have passed on. So this was my way of honoring them. And we have a lot more, funny, great messages for dads as well during Father's Day.
Absolutely. Romeo, do you have anything from social before for Kalila?
Janice Simmons is checking in, and she says she loves your Dear Oprah. Thank you. Thank you, shirt. Jamaica Lynch is checking in. Shirley Carter says, great job, strong Black woman. Shout out to Nancy Evans. Everybody loves it. Oh, thank you, a dreamer. Okay, I see it now. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Kalila, please tell everyone where they can keep up with you and Mess in a Bottle and support your company.
Thank you, guys. Please follow me on social. We're at Mess in a Bottle, as well as www.messinabottle.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Woo!
Thank you, guys.
All right. Entrepreneur extraordinaire, design and dialogue. Congratulations, young lady. We are very, very proud of you.
I want the shirt.
You want the shirt? You are about to lose your job.
Hey.
Hey.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
You are about to lose your job. So beautiful in that video. I really loved her.
Definitely. What you got, Romeo?
Oh man, coming up, man, we finna jump into the Rolling Out AM social report, man. And just to let y'all know, first and foremost, International Romeo realized that you can actually blow an iPhone speaker. Telling y'all that secret, but we'll get to that later. But coming up in the report, we're gonna start with
beep.
2K, all my 2K players. I'm a 2K player. I don't know if Munson and Amir is, but I'm a 2K player. 2K NBA did something really special. They muted the channel out of respect for what's going on in the world. And for all their online players, they created Black Lives Matter t-shirts yesterday where all of their online players got to choose their shirts and play their in the shirts, which increased funding and an additional $1 million to the mission to help fight racial injustice, inequalities, and Black communities across the globe. And I love this only because my young nephew is a avid PlayStation guy, and for him to be engaged in his game and learn more about Black Lives Matter, it was just perfect. Next on the dock, we have Rihanna, one of Cass in the City's favorite persons, and she posted, "You ain't else to do, man. Get your ass off the couch and go vote. I don't want to hear another excuse. Stop believing that your vote and your voice doesn't matter. This the illest way to protect. Vote for change and want." And somebody, a troll, of course, voting ain't gonna change shit. That's what they said. And she came right back with the heat and said, "Sick of hearing this. You know what? Ain't gonna change shit. Not doing shit." Salute to Rihanna, because I think throughout the whole process, and the team can speak on this, but I think throughout the whole process, she has literally led a clear-cut message when it comes to her brand, what she feels, and how she's going to express it. What you guys think?
I agree. I think she always uses her platform, to speak out and encourage people to do, what they need to do, like getting out and voting. And she does that with her brand as well, as we talked about earlier this week. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, it's always good when celebrities use their power and influence and their money instead of saying something crazy. Because I'm going to come up with a list of all the celebrities who have been canceled over the past few weeks. I'm coming up with that list. We're gonna have that list Monday of the top 10 celebrities who have been canceled because they said something ignorant.
You know what? I'm gonna put my vote in, Amir. I'm gonna say, Cass, Munson. I'm gonna say at least over 20 people. I'm gonna go 20. I'm gonna do
20?
I think so too.
It's about 20.
I think so.
Okay. Would you put your money on the over or under 20?
I think it's 10 to 20. I think 10 to 20.
What you say, Romeo?
Go over 20.
So you say 20 to 30.
By Monday, who knows?
I'm gonna have that list. I'm gonna have that list on Monday. So we're gonna get the top either 20 or 30 celebrities who have been canceled.
Well, shout out to Black Twitter for not only fact checking, but definitely making sure that those who imagine they can just disrespect people in their movement, disrespect and talk about our community, describe them as animals. I mean, it's just a time out for that. If you're not part of the movement, if you don't understand people's moves, then just be silent. You don't have to be an agent provocateur in our community. You don't have to be a community member. If you're not part of the movement, we haven't always had individuals that understood the movement, but it's important that we keep our movement going forward and stop being so judgmental. If it don't fit you, don't wear it. Don't say it, but you don't have to criticize it. It is a shame that we have people that feel like they're, philosophers. You ain't got no degree in philosophy.
Let me ask you guys this one, and especially you, Mr. Steve. A lot of people on social have been asking, is it okay to speak out loud if everything said is walking on eggshells? Is it okay to speak out loud if everything is walking on eggshells? Because like you just said, if you don't know, be quiet. But how do you express yourself if you don't know? I throw it to y'all.
Well,
educate yourself.
You have to educate yourself. I mean,
there's a lot happening in the it's community education. If you listen to the young lady on the video who was describing Monopoly, she said, I was trained at Push. So if you don't know who Push was, or if you never go, they still do trainings every Saturday at Push. And maybe, Amir, as we come back, you can talk about what Push means. Because many people don't remember Jesse Jackson was still there. It's nice. Everybody has stood there, but Push has continued to push the community forward. So I don't want us ever to not forget, that there's a training waiting for you, and you can start to train your mind. I think any of those, you don't have to walk on eggshells. Walk on history. Walk on pride. Walk on those individuals that have laid it. Join an organization that is out there that will provide training. Literally, there's training going on at museums. Black Lives Matters is doing training. There are trainings. Rolling Out is going to do a training on a Saturday, a virtual training, just on how to encourage us to vote and protest. So look forward to that. Amir Shaw, Romeo International, and Cassie are going to organize that so that we can do just a virtual training on how, make signs. We want you to enjoy this moment. Be proud.
And you can go to rollingout.com, because Rolling Out actually did a push movement with Farnsworth Bentley at Clark Atlanta University. That story is actually up on rollingout.com, where Mr. Steed and Farnsworth Bentley went to Clark Atlanta to encourage young students, to push them forward, to encourage them not only to vote, but to be diligent in their studies. So you can actually go to rollingout.com and check out that story.
Yeah, and I think it's, also for people who are on social media, maybe you need to reevaluate who you're following, because I follow a lot of people who are posting petitions to sign, who are posting where you can vote, who are posting very impactful information about our history in this country. So I think it's about who you're following. So I've seen a lot of young people kind of take the approach of educating others and educating our peers. So, don't stray away from social media. You can find information there. Most of these organizations, including the NAACP and many others, are on social media, and they're trying to engage the youth on those platforms as well.
Let's go on back to your report, Amir.
Definitely. So we want to go back into the process. This is a video from Crown Point, Indiana, and where peaceful protesters, they were met by several white individuals who decided to show up to the rally with automatic rifles. So again, this is Crown Point, Indiana, and we've seen this similar situations across the nation where individuals were armed, white individuals have shown up to rallies with automatic rifles and armed, and it creates a volatile situation. Is I don't understand why officers are allowing this to happen. I know in this situation in Indiana, citizens have the right to carry. It's like an open carry state, so they have the right to bear arms. But you have to weigh what's legal versus the situation at hand. Do you want to have white armed men in the midst of a Black Lives Matter rally? And I think the police and the officers, they definitely dropped the ball on this. They should have told them to leave, that they're not welcome, because you're only going to make a situation worse when you already have individuals who are upset. They're on a boiling point, and you have other people from the other side who are basically, that's a show of force against those peaceful protesters.
Well, it's called intimidation. So it's a way to intimidate. And it's happening in a smaller state that clearly is not necessarily pro the movement. So part of that is intimidation. They're using those weapons to intimidate. So let's not even say that it's just the right to carry. They hope to intimidate anybody who would become fearful. The whole idea of racism and lynching and showing videoing something like Ahmaud Arbery, having your own videographer of a murder down in Brunswick. Let us not forget, this isn't, we love, there are many who have been victims and are the true heroes in this moment. You said it was her birthday, but I want us to all know that is intimidation. That's what we're looking at that moment, intimidation. So they're trying to intimidate and make us fearful and make us doubt our movement, doubt ourselves. It's a tactic that is constantly used. It's a playbook from history. So let us not be confused on what is happening when we see that. And we have the right to bear arms.
We do.
We have the right to bear arms.
We do.
And it's sad because I'm watching it, and I know each state is different, but for them to feel comfortable enough, I've never seen that. For them to feel comfortable enough to stand 2-3 feet away from the police, and there's a comfortability because of the right, and that is, like you said, it is a fear, which I don't understand. Like the laws really need to be like stripped down and just restructured, like all over.
So, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cass.
No, I mean, I agree with you all 100%. I just think this is a crazy sight to even see. So I definitely agree. This is unbelievable to me.
Well, I think the law, when you say law, Romeo, the whole idea is just intimidation. When is intimidation the whole threat? Like literally, you've got to change the law to understand, is that a threat? Are you threatening me by coming out with your weapons, and they're pointed at me in a different way? So at that point, that's the consideration, because you can't broadly talk about a law and changing a law. But if you bring an automatic weapon to a peaceful disturbance in a city, then you have to create that policy, because now you're intimidating and it's a silent threat. So we got to figure out that part of it. And so we probably want to bring somebody from the AFL-CIO to talk about those type policies in disturbances, and if and how automatic weapons can be presented there. But we've seen this in Michigan. We've seen this in other places where they're showing up with these automatic weapons. And we just have to understand that this is part of the movement. We're not seeing dogs, Romeo. You didn't see dogs, but maybe we should go back and get a couple photojournalists so that you can see the dogs that they used to sick on us. This isn't new. We just now have the awareness that this mind set is still in this country. All that illustrates is the mindset of hate, of intimidation, is still in our country. And there are those corporations in those states that are tolerating it, that support it.
I just pulled up the numbers. 31 states allow an open carry of a handgun without a license or permit. 31 states.
So get your gun.
Get your gun.
You know,
Get your gun.
Don't go to a gunfight with a knife, Romeo. You know, that might be a bad situation, homie.
Definitely want to protect yourself, protect your family, protect your community. But I want to move forward, play some inspirational word from George Floyd himself.
Workout game, getting back on up, man. You know, I went through some things, man. Had to bounce back, man. I'm just sharing right now. You know what I'm saying? Because, man, people quick to count you out, man, but just so strict on counting you in. You know? One thing about old Floyd, man, I love the world. I ain't putting on, ask anybody that know me, then they know me. You know, because, like, people be acting like they be scared to embrace God, worrying about what the next man gonna say and all that. Man, you better get down. Know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't here to show out and all that, you know. This here just to motivate somebody who want to work out that might need it, or whatever you're going through, man. Man, don't let Instagram fool you, man, and get you depressed looking at what other people doing and all that, man. I love you, man. Big Floyd, kill your own family.
So there we have it, man. A powerful word from George Floyd. He pretty much, you know, it's like he's speaking to us, man. Speaking to us from heaven, like, don't get distracted. Stay focused. Stay on your path. Like, he's speaking to us right now. And I wanted to play that video because that was powerful words from George Floyd. Of course, I love the H-Town accent. Texas, you know, so, man, shout out, rest in power, Big Floyd, man.
Yeah. And I think that this highlights, you know, I love this video, Amir. I think this was something very important to show because we don't really, you know, we've never really been able to hear him outside of this video. So this is really his personality coming through, the love he exuded. And these are things that his family discussed yesterday during his memorial service. So I think this really highlights his personality and the kind of person he was, this kind of community guy. He wanted to, you know, encourage other people, uplift other people. And, you know, he was spreading love. So I think this was a great thing to show. So I really appreciate this video.
Yeah, thank you, Amir. Like that just uplifted me because you cannot paint the picture of threat, thug, black man. If that's the person that you're telling me scared you, I would call you a liar to your face because that man literally, that was so motivational, man. Like I'm pumped now. I'm going to the gym today.
I think you might be going to the gym. I think you might be thinking off going to the gym. I think you might. You DJing now, so I'm a little concerned. But I'm gonna back up off. It's Friday. Everybody, it is Black Music Month, so Let's make sure we're rolling out AM, the wake up call. So wake up. And as Cassie says, stay woke, because you are about to lose your job. I think she's so beautiful in that video. She was so beautiful.
So we wanna move forward, man. We're gonna talk about. I have NFL player Daniel Wilcox. Of course, played tight end NFL for years, and now he's a coach over at Georgia State University. And we're gonna discuss a situation that occurred with quarterback Drew Brees. He had his opinion on Colin Kaepernick kneeling. So yeah, we're gonna throw in to Daniel. My brother, what's up? Got to unmute yourself. Unmute. There we go.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Good morning.
Good morning. So before we get started, man, I have a short video to play, and I have to get your thoughts on this video. Do we have the video queued up of Drew Brees?
Anybody but Drew Brees right now.
All right, so we were gonna pull that video up, but just want to introduce yourself, man. Let the people know who you are.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing? I'm Daniel Wilcox. I'm a retired NFL vet. Played about 9 seasons in the NFL for the Jets, the Bucks, and the Ravens. Also played in NFL Europe for a season with the Rhein Fire over in Dusseldorf, Germany. Been retired now for about 11 seasons. And actually right now, I'm not with Georgia State anymore. Hey, I don't know if you know that or not, but I love Georgia State. I'm actually with the Baltimore Ravens scouting and stuff like that right now.
Oh, nice.
And also I have my own company here in Atlanta where I build custom houses and renovate people's properties as well. So I'm here. I'm an ATL native, born and raised, Grady baby, original. You know how we do, OG, triple OG.
Grady baby. That's what it is, man. That's what it is. So before we go to the video, I want you to talk about what's happening as far as being an athlete and being in the sports arena. I guess, what are your thoughts on what's happening and how, I guess, athletes are responding during this moment?
Well, I think what you see from a lot of us is us relating to our own people, to us relating to our own neighborhoods, our own friends, our families, our children, our fathers, So, I mean, with the George Floyd incident, what's going on right now, I think what always separate Black men from white men, especially when you're dealing with other Black men, is that we look at other Black men as that could be my son, that could be my uncle, that could be my dad, that could be me. And white men a lot of times don't see themselves in that reflection. When I was coaching college football, one of my biggest problems was, the way they treated us, verbally, how they talked to us. I felt like it was a lot of disrespect. I feel like as Black parents, we take our time with our kids, our sons, especially our sons and daughters. We try to build them up so much. We want them to understand the value of who they are, and people should respect you and people should treat you a certain way. And you want to give people the respect that you want, the golden rule, treat people the way you want to be treated, right? So a lot of times we build our kids up, we build our young men up so much because we want them to hold their head high, walk around with confidence, not be afraid, not be shy, be willing to voice your opinion and treat people with respect. So when these kids go and they get to college and they get ready to go play football, for some reason, mentally in those coaches' mind, they got to tear these kids down. We got to bring them down. Let's humble them. Let's tear them. Let's break them. So they go in this breaking mentality. I got to break this dude because he think he's too good, or he think he's too high on himself. He feel too confident about who he is as a man. And especially if you're a kid from Atlanta, like you from Atlanta, you from Decatur, Georgia, man. Like you carry yourself with a certain kind of swag. It's different from everywhere else you go. Like you can go to New York, you can go to freaking Cali. You just carry yourself differently. That's who we are. We talk different, we walk different, we speak different, everything, man. And it comes across, as arrogance to a lot of people. And it's not arrogance, it's just a certain confidence that you have because you grew up in a big city. You've been around things, you've seen things on a certain level, path. But these college coaches tend to try to tear the kids down all the way down, almost to a humiliation point. And then they try to build them back up to do what they want them to do or whatever. And it's hard as a father, as a Black man, as a father. And I played the game myself for almost 30 years, so it's hard. you know, to sit down and watch it. And I always had a problem with it. You know, I always had a problem with it. I was like, man, look, man, you talking to this kid worse than his mother ever talked to him or his dad ever talked to him. And you'll hear the kid say it too. Like, my dad don't even talk to me that way. Who the hell you think you're talking to? And when they want to buck the system, that's when they start trying to pull those scholarships. And that's when you see these kids entering the transfer portal and they leaving and going other places, man. So when you watch the George Floyd incident, you know, that was the first time, I think, it ain't the first time, but it's one of the times that you've got a chance to see visually, you know, somebody putting a knee on somebody's, you know, on somebody's neck, like literally physically. You know, verbally, they've been putting their knee on our neck for years and years and years. I'm talking about centuries, but visually, you don't get a chance to see it as much. But that's what the new age is. That's what social media is, man. And people got phones. Everybody got a camera in their hand at all times. And they're catching this stuff on film more and more and more and more. And this has been going on for so freaking long, man. I mean, you just saw the Avery case too. You know, you just saw 2 modern day lynchings right in front of your eyes of Black men in this world. And that's what modern day lynching look like. They don't hang us someone, hang us from a tree and all that type of stuff, but you get a chance to see somebody's, you know, neck, or you get a chance to see somebody vigilante shopping and going out there, you know, going to kill one of our guys as he jogging down the street just trying to get in shape.
Definitely. I want to go into the Drew Brees quote. So basically with Drew Brees, he was asked the question about Colin Kaepernick. He kind of diverted from answering the question about Colin Kaepernick kneeling. And he said, his quote is, "I would never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America or our country." And he went on to talk about his family members who served as service members in the Army in the past in World War II. But just your thoughts on his quote, and if you were his teammate, how would you address him?
Man, I tell you what, AJ, like it's hard, man. That's tough. You know, I look at Drew like a brother. You know, it's like being in a frat. You know, we're in the NFL, we're elite members of that group. You know, so you want to always kind of hold each one of us on a higher pedestal, and you want to respect each one of us. And Drew have done so much for his community down in New Orleans, and that's a majority Black community in New Orleans. You know it, I know it. You know, so we all, I think, had a level of respect for Drew Brees. I mean, even once he broke the passing record or the touchdown record last 2 years ago, he put out he had his graphics guys put up a graphic of every single player that ever caught a touchdown from him. 90% of those players was Black, you know, and for him to even acknowledge that just shows you the kind of guy that Drew Brees is. You know, like most people win those awards and it's all about them. He won that award and he thanked each and every last one of those young men that helped him get to that pedestal, you know, and I thought that was powerful. I know a couple of those guys personally, you know, they respect Drew, they love Drew a lot, but Drew effed up. He effed up. He stuck his foot in his mouth, man. And he said something that'll probably never be forgiven by us. You know, his teammates, his alumni members, the people you know that know him and think the world of him, man. Like it hurts, you know, to hear him, you know, say what he said. And I understand. I get it. You know, I always try to, you know, put myself in the other person's shoes. And, you know, he did not have what he needed to have for this moment right now, you know, and he said what he said before, but at this point in pivot of time, I see people backpedaling every day, and I see people putting out on social media, which I really, really love, because I could really appreciate somebody saying that I was wrong. And I'm, you know, like 3-4 years ago when Colin Kaepernick first kneeled, I didn't agree with it. I thought it was dumb. I thought it was stupid, you know, and now I see why he was kneeling. I want to apologize to everyone, because I see why Colin Kaepernick was kneeling, and I 100% agree with Colin Kaepernick why he's doing what he's doing. I see people putting that on social media right now, and I think that's brave. I think that's huge. I think that's an honor to see somebody willing to say I was wrong, you know, and Drew has already said that he was wrong, but nobody cares. Nobody cares that he's wrong, you know, and we won't forgive him for it. I don't think anybody will forgive him for it, because it's how he truly, honestly feels, whether or not he made a mistake or not. You know, I think you show your true colors when the time comes. And he stuck his foot in his mouth. It wasn't about the George Floyd case. They weren't even talking about the George Floyd case at the time. And they did ask him about the national anthem and kneeling and stuff. And he kind of voiced his opinion. At this time, you got to have a little bit of sensitivity and understand what's actually going on around you. And like I said, like one of the biggest misconceptions I think from the white man is that they cannot look at a black man and put their family in that guy's shoes. I can guarantee you, if Drew Brees looked at George Floyd and said, "Hey man, that could have been my son."
Yeah.
Because that's what I do. I got 2 boys. I got a 15-year-old, I got a 10-year-old. And every time something like this happens, I'm scared shitless, man. I'm so freaking scared that this could possibly be my son one day. It terrifies me. And I'm not there. And I want to say, like, I sit down and I think about this. I'm so angry watching this, man. I was so angry watching this dude put his knee on this man's neck. The other 2 guys on behind him with their knee on his back and is, holding him down. And he's in handcuffs. He can't defend himself. He's telling you, "I can't breathe. Like, please let me up." I want to say, if I'm there, I'm giving my life for him. None of us knows what we would do if we're in that situation. If I'm the guy holding the camera, I'm the guy telling him, "Hey man, he's telling you he can't breathe." And I'm sitting here watching this dude with this smug ass look on his face, and he's not letting up. I watched this man pass out in front of me. I'm sitting here thinking, like, if that's my son, like, what would I want somebody to do? Would I want you to sit there and ask him to get up, or would I want you to take your foot and drive it so far down that dude's face that he falls off and gets off that man's back, and it starts an all-out riot right there in the middle of the street? They're gonna have to kill me right there. And I'm thinking, like, this is so wrong. Like this, like, I know Dr. King said, you don't fix violence with violence, but at that moment, it's like, can you sit there and just, you think about that moment? I have nightmares thinking about that moment because I've watched it so much, and I'm so passionate about, if that's my son, what would I want somebody to do? I want my kid coming home.
Definitely. Romeo? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Romeo? Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask you, you just made the point that, Drew Brees stepped in something that he can't back out of. So if he can't back out of it, what's the middle ground? Is the middle ground his teammates not speaking for him but helping him understand? Is it the organization? Like, what's the middle ground, or is it just lost?
I think a lot of time racism and all this stuff comes from just ignorance and people just not knowing, and I heard one of my teammates, Bart Scott, I was listening to him talk about Drew Brees' situation, and he was like, "Drew, pick up a effing book." You know what I'm saying? And that's the first thing, it always comes down to. A lot of times it's just ignorance, And I listened to this young lady passionate speak this morning. I had listened to her like 5 times because she was on freaking point. And what she was saying was that, picture this, like, life ain't nothing but a game. We all call it a game of life, right? So if it's really a game, she was like, what if life a game is Monopoly, right?
Yeah, we actually played that video earlier. Yeah.
Did you? And she was saying, like, if it's Monopoly, we've been playing Monopoly for 400 years and they've never given us any money. We play, but we don't get the money. They keep all the money, we play. That's what it was for 400 years. Then for 50 years, we build up, we pulled our stuff up by our bootstraps and we started building our community, and then they burn it down. They give us a little bit, we're allowed to grow a little bit, and they burn down everything that we build. Everything that we stand up on and build, they burn down. What Drew just said, he burnt down. He burnt down what we're trying to build right now. He burnt down what's happening right now at this moment. So his teammates, I think we all got some forgiveness in our heart. So I think his teammates will eventually have to forgive him because they're going to have to go out there and play. They're going to go play football, and he's going to be their starting quarterback. But he won't be the guy in the middle of the huddle like he's been in all these years past. That shit's dead. Wow. It's dead. They're not going to forgive him to that extent, but they're going to forgive him because they got to go pay. They got to go make their money. They got to feed their families. They got to support their children. So they're going to do what they got to do. But he won't be the guy in the middle of the huddle to get them all riled up. Ain't nobody going to try to hear that no more. That's dead. It's over. So he's been that leader of that team for so long, but it's over. Go ahead, AJ. I'm sorry.
I think that we have to wrap, unfortunately, Munson. I know you hopped on. I don't know if you have anything to add, but I just wanted you to share where.
Thanks, Cass. But no, thank you very much for coming and being honest. I mean, so many of us at this moment aren't standing up, and it is our children. When I interviewed Tanaya and Messiah, you just felt hurt knowing that their parents would have given their lives to take the taser.
Exactly.
They would have just taken the taser right then. Every parent was getting tased. Every Black parent was getting tased. That's what everybody doesn't get. Parents were getting tased. Parents were getting choked. everybody felt those children when the police, and that's what you're afraid of.
Absolutely.
I'm not there. I've raised them right, and now you're gonna mistreat them. So I get it. I want to just thank you for being honest. I think your honesty and clarity as a professional and as an African-American businessman. And you're the type we need on the news, because I'm tired of them asking individuals who, I love my entertainers, but I'm not sure you need to speak for all Black businessmen.
Right.
And we don't need media to look at you as a sense of what our businessmen look like. I think that's played way too high up. I'd rather see more builders, more carpenters, and I want to thank you for talking about the trades and rehabilitating and building homes, because home ownership is going to be part of this whole movement. So thanks so much for coming on and being honest as a father, as a husband, and as a Black businessman in these streets. Thank you.
Man, I appreciate you guys having me on, man. Cass, I don't know if you wanted to say something, but Lucky, you was about to say something before you said you had to wrap up. But
I just wanted to thank you. Thank you for joining us and sharing insight. I definitely want you to come back, because there's a lot of things we have to talk about in relation to sports and, you know, criminal justice reform and racism in this country. So I definitely think you should come back, and Amir can probably bring that, you know, full circle. So thank you just for joining us and sharing.
No doubt. AJ, I appreciate you always, man, for bringing me on. I appreciate you guys. You guys be safe. All right, stay Black.
Thank you.
All right, brother.
All right.
Take care.
Wakanda forever.
I don't think
Wakanda forever.
that part is out. We stuck on that.
Definitely, man. He definitely gave us some insight from the locker room, room insight. But we wanna lighten things up. We have a special guest. Our next guest is Grammy Award winning, sold millions of records, a legend, not just in Atlanta, but a legend around the world, a global legend. Want to definitely bring on my brother, CeeLo Green. He's coming. CeeLo here? He said he's here. But while we get CeeLo ready, I know, Muncie, you've known CeeLo for years. So it's always a pleasure to work with him, and always a pleasure to hear his voice. Just give your thoughts on just working with CeeLo over the years.
Oh man, come on. It's creative geniusry at the best. Obviously, ATL is led with an entire group of genius. So the Dungeon family and Rolling Out forever have been both partners in creativity, partners in loving this world and making the world go crazy to understand exactly who and what creativity is. That voice, he just got in its own. What's up?
My brother.
Hey, welcome to Rolling Out 8 a.m. The wake up call is CeeLo Green.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Before we get into the interview, we're gonna play your latest single, because we want the world to hear this song at this time, because it speaks so much to what's happening in this moment. So if we have this video, let's play it.
It doesn't matter where we started, just as long as we finish together. It's a ballad for the broken-hearted, make you feel as light as a feather. 1 foot in front.
Yeah.
All right.
We
Get into it.
Lead me by example. Lead me, 'cause I've been going nowhere. Lead me to the promised land. I follow you through fire. You're more than a friend. What if we just kept on walking and count the cracks along the ground? And Quentin's crossed my mind quite often, but we've come too far to turn around.
My brother. Let's talk about the inspiration behind that, man. It's powerful words, and it's just like, you know, it was right for this moment, right for the time. Let's talk about the inspiration behind that song.
Well, you know, obviously the inspiration is about love. It's about relation, but it's also about honesty and humility, an opportunity to say to your partner and say out loud to the universe and to the creator that as a man, I just don't know everything, you know, and, you know, and sometimes, and especially on this occasion, I need your leadership and I need your example. And I tried to make it not so coded, you know what I mean, but very simple and plain and to the point, for the sake of, you know, something deliberate, you know what I mean? Where people could connect to it, you know, and relate to it and identify with it immediately, instantly gratifying, you know?
Definitely.
I also like to make music that that would appear to be timeless, you know? You know, like if they put music of the 20th century into a time capsule and it was you know, catapulted out into the future and some alien life form or some more advanced civilization stumbled upon it and opened it up, you know, the music of CeeLo Green will sound like it's been, you know, 100 years old. You know what I mean? They were like, okay, you know, this guy was mythical. You know what I mean? You know, in some regards. You know what I mean? As opposed to something they'll be able to see and that would sound as a grouping of things, you know, that sound like a trend or something that came through. I want to sound like something and someone that was always able to distinguish themselves but run concurrent, you know?
Definitely. Munson?
What's up, man?
What's up, OG?
It's been a phenomenal ride just to hear the CeeLo Green sound. I mean, your body of work is always intentional. So this is a moving moment. And I think for all those young artists that are looking, they need to understand, make big records and big sound that hold through time versus something that's a gimmick. And I think that I admire that you've never been a gimmick, but you've been an evolution of a soul, so that you transmit some truth to all of us. And I love that lead me. I mean, we all are looking to be led at this moment. And I think that the spirituality that we can find in that record will heal a lot of people so that they can look to a higher source other than just chaos, because there are some peaceful messages and intentional spiritual guides if we'll just listen and go higher than what we need immediately. So, so moved by that record. Much respect for that record, but I expect nothing less than the greatness in the body of work from CeeLo Green.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that coming from you, Elder.
Romeo International.
Hey man, you always stood strong for the culture, always. But
yes,
you always made music for everybody, white,
yes,
black, you know, like everybody. Because I've been to one of your concerts and everybody was there.
Yes.
How do you get across to everybody the message today? Because I feel like there's a message that should be out for everyone.
Well, you know, there was a point in my career where my scope wasn't as broad, neither was my stroke, you know, and I was fixated on, you know, trying to find shape and form, you know, and then you must begin that process with thine self, you know, and I am a black man, you know what I mean, and we do suffer from the identity crisis of no origin, no faith or religious background. I mean, like no historical account besides what we had been subjected to. You know what I'm saying? And the historical account prior to that is the one that we must only speculate and we have to almost write off as wishful thinking. We hope that we were of some alien ancestry or or advanced civilization, but we don't really have the proof. You know what I mean? And just the pressure of day to day does not allow us to go back, and we're not allowed to think twice. We always have to rely on and act off of emotion and impulse, which always has us as a disadvantage. You know what I'm saying? So in my evolution and in my education, I became civilized, what I mean, because I had not always been. And you could even say that I was racist at some point, you know what I mean? David Banner made a great point in an interview once. He said that a lot of race groups or nationalities are pro themselves, and he says he understood that, and it was what he said was very provocative, but I understood it. And he said that we are not pro-black, what I mean, not often enough. We're pro-black on occasion, you know what I mean. And so he felt like, we should be more racist, meaning we should be more pro our race. And so, that people can skew that to the far left or to the far right, you know what I mean? And take that with a grain of salt. But I got what he was saying, and he's a peer of mine, so I appreciated it. And I'm saying all of this to say is that I ultimately became a better human being than even a black man, you know what I'm saying? Because I started to just tell the truth and extrovert a formal education in music, you know what I mean, and in higher vibration of, expression and intelligence, you know what I mean? And so just what OG Munson just said, and it became intentional and deliberate, and then it also was equal parts involuntary action. It's just something I became repurposed for, you know what I mean, as a resource and as an influence. And as an artist, when I just stopped thinking and just start doing, the honesty was able to shine through. And it's just more universally appealing. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't so deliberate trying to cater or appease anyone. It's just that I became whole at some point,
Cass in the City.
Did that make sense with that, brother?
That was a great live to Romeo. I think we're in a moment of self-care for sure. In a pandemic, reflection. I think Ian Smith, one of Amir's guests, also said, it's a reset. So at this moment, the whole song, Take Me High, Lead Me, is definitely a reset. Like reconnect to something bigger and greater. Cass?
Absolutely. And you're about to release a new album towards the end of the month. So I want you to just discuss that a little bit. But you're also giving people who are at home in quarantine during this time an opportunity to, be a part of your creativity in a new music video that you're shooting. So I would like you to just discuss that and why it was important for you to, reach out and give that opportunity to, your followers and people and your fans.
Well, we're living in an age of social interaction. And technology has advanced us and advantaged us in a way of where we can reach out and touch people instantaneously, immediately. You know what I mean? Like we can either connect or not. So I believe that it's given us an even greater incentive. Those who care to grow. To grow on a personal and spiritual and fundamental level, but then also who care and who are wise enough to utilize the platform to grow the brand, and so therefore, and expose it to whom it may concern. And I've always considered the music I do, as a love letter to whom it may concern. And so therefore, this is just an opportunity to continue that work, and that effort. To just make people aware and get people involved of something that they can showcase that is such a really a rare occasion. And you're right, this pandemic and quarantine has given us an opportunity to reacquaint with ourselves and retrace the roots, go back to a simpler time, and reaccount for what's for what's necessary and what's priceless, what's valuable, and that's always love and life and family and laughter and food, and sharing and caring. And so therefore all that kind of stuff may sound cliche, but I don't know. I mean, like it seems so important and so imperative, in this moment. And so therefore you don't want to just relearn it just to set it aside once again, once things resume back into some normalcy. It doesn't seem that way. It just seems like, we won't be going backward. You know what I mean? Like we should only be aspiring toward a new standard of what normal is defined as, for not only for ourselves, but for the world in which we live in. And yet again, we are all affected, you know what I mean? Like, and we should all be on board for the correction, of our state of being, for one unified common cause, So this is just a small symbolic way of saying, let's show people, and let's lead by example. Let's show people how to be families again. Let's show people that we can sacrifice and do without. All we need is each other.
I want to talk about, every time I see you out now, I see you with your son, and that's just like, to me, that's just like a powerful statement, just to seeing you guys together. I want to talk about, because Father's Day is coming up. Father's Day is coming. What has fatherhood taught you the most, or what have you learned the most about fatherhood, about yourself?
Oh well, yeah. I was always motivated by my father being deceased very early. You know what I mean? My father passed away when I was about 2 years old. So I had always heard very, wonderful things about him, and how much I looked and behaved, you know what I mean, like him. And so my father was a minister as well. So, you know, I learned about fatherhood is that, I learned that today is Father's Day as well. You know what I mean? So it made me want to be, the father that I didn't have. It made me want to fill that void. It almost taking a professional approach to our personal lives. Critical thinking, strategic, timing conscience. You know what I mean? Like things of that nature. Trying to advantage him with information and formal education, making sure that schooling and didn't stop. I mean, it wasn't just the hours of school. It's just it's always about constantly learning, because we have to be multiplied. You know what I mean? Like as Black men. You know what I mean? And so therefore, I need him to have the duty, you know what I mean, like and the ability, you know what I mean, the character of 100 Black men, you know what I'm saying, 100 great Black men. And so so that's a great deal of work, and trying to make sure that that information is not only available and that they're exposed to it, but that they can retain it, you know what I mean, and reiterate it, as a example of the self that they have become, the wholeness, the wellness. You know what I'm saying? So I just love my son. And then on another note is I have to work so hard to provide. You know what I mean? And out supplying such a large demand. In that time of his youth. He's a man now. He's 19 now. He'll be 20 in September. So basically, you see me with him a lot, making up for a lot of lost time, because one time, in one regard, you can spoil and share the success with things monetarily, materially, but that does not take the place of tangible time. You know what I mean? So like we've got to spend it because it's precious and it's irreplaceable, and there's nothing I would rather do. You know what I'm saying? So like, I have to show him how to survive and think critically in a moment of where, even now, as you have to take into consideration, man, I may have to give my life for my son. I don't know. I mean, like, this looks crazy. You know what I mean? Like, you feel me? And it looks unavoidable. You know what I mean? And so we have those talks, and we allow mortality, and and I don't mean that for that to sound dark, but we do allow mortality to be motivation as well. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, like, hey, I need you to, carry on in this way. You know what I mean? And we talk, we have real talk, basically, is what I'm saying. So yeah, I love him with all of my life, and he's my greatest success. You know what I'm saying? Because I only have one son. You know what I mean? One biological, but I meet a lot of brothers who have been who've been inspired by things I've had to say, and things that I've been able to do, fortunately, praise God, and so I do have essentially 1,000 sons too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I'm proud of that.
I think there's a beauty in the vulnerability. I think there's a beauty in being honest about the truth that we experience of ourselves, so that as we're molding other clay for future generations, they can know that they too can be vulnerable, honest with us when we talk about our brokenness that we've had to repair as Black men. When we can literally say, forgive me, son, and say it so he heard it early.
For sure.
You had to do it when I'm exiting. I'm going to do it to you now. So at 19, I told you that. I'm going to want you to hear it one more time so you can understand that I was in a different place, but you don't ever have to be in that place that I was. And I'm going to be vulnerable enough to be imperfect.
That's right.
So that we could be honest with each other. And you could, even in your moment of not want to tell me, trust that you could tell me because we're going to be all right.
That's right.
Vulnerability. I mean, and as Black men, we have to be vulnerable and fathers to our future Black men. I mean, that's just so beautiful, because when we're not, I've always been perfect. That's a broken record. We know it's a broken record. They can't trust. They want to be able to love us unconditionally. And that's what I heard. Unconditional love.
That's right. Absolutely right, OG.
Definitely, man. I want you to leave us with a positive thought of the day. You say you speak to you're a father to a lot of the community. During these times, man, a lot of people, they need leadership. They need to be led. Just what's a positive thought that you have for just so many people who are hurting right now, so many people trying to figure out the next stage. So just your positive thought of the day.
Well, this is something that I will repeat. I said in another forum, but it was on my heart, and I would like to repeat it. I want the young brothers and sisters to know that the difference between reaction and overreaction, and the difference between reaction and overreaction is the emotion involved. Now, when we're being attacked, you have to understand that that is strategic, because now your enemy has given you your emotion. I mean, your enemy has given you anger. He's giving you confusion. He's giving you panic. He's giving you frustration. He's giving you stress. You know what I mean? He's giving you PTSD. You know what I mean? But with overreaction, still as a strategy, you still have to remain cognizant. You know what I mean? And subconscious and conscious. Even as you have this conflict of interest, because with overreaction becomes oversight. And when you oversight, there is mismark, there's management of that emotion. You know what I mean? So you can turn that emotion into power, and that power can be used for construction, not destruction. You know what I mean? And I just want to make that relative to the state of the union, you know what I mean, as we speak, and just know that your lives are not worthless. They're not random. They're not frivolous. They're not by happenstance. Your lives are purpose, and some degree of your lives and what's and the fight and struggle that will be born into you. It has something to do with the struggle. Maybe this is where it starts, but you have to start and plan to finish, unless you plan to fail. You know what I mean? And planning to fail is having no plan at all. You know what I mean? System and strategy will survive the magnitude of us, or the multitude of us. And of course, in all conflict and in all war, you know what I mean? There are very seldom many peaceful transitions of power. And so therefore, your strategy has to survive as many as you can, you know what I mean? Because we have to lead each other with logic, you know what I mean? Logic is math, you know what I mean? And so we need to be right and exact and matter of fact in order to be effective, and so I would not say anger is the right emotion, you know what I mean? Put that anger in the pot and let it simmer, you know what I mean? Like, and get our education, because get that education and know your enemy. You know what I mean? Like, know your enemy.
We thank you for coming on, brother CeeLo Green. Missed you. Much love to the entire family and Dudgeon family. So shout out to your brethren there, because I want us all to remember in this time, brotherhood and sisterhood are so important to this movement that we all love and respect. So much love and respect to you, brother, for all that you keep it up. We're here to support it. It's going, that video will find itself on Rolling Out AM, the wake up call. I'll start pushing that so that we start our day with that message. Lead me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for rolling out.
I didn't mean to get too heavy, OG.
Now, we need heavy, baby. We need heavy. We need heavy right now. If you ain't got your muscles, get your weight up. I'm gonna push up every day, baby.
Yes, sir.
5 miles a day running, so I'm with you, baby.
For sure, big homie. Thank you, man. I love y'all.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Peace.
Thank you.
All right, positive thought of the day. Everybody got 30 seconds. Cass in the city.
My positive thought of the day is just educate yourselves in this moment. I'm going to continue to say that because that's very important right now. There's so much going on and you want to be educated before you speak, but you just want to be educated for your own good and, in the world and what we're going on, so that you know how to move and interact with other people, and that, so you can empower other people.
Romeo, you got 15 seconds.
There twice, because something could go wrong on top of wrong, and you always want to be on the right side. AR.
Definitely, man. This is morning in America. I think this is time for change. I think we should continue to be out there on the front lines, continue to push for change. We're not going to take it anymore. 400 years is enough. So continue the good work, continue to fight, continue to educate, continue to improve.
Make every moment count. This is a big moment for the entire community. Future generations are looking forward to your action. Don't stand by. Whatever you do, stay positive, be focused, be deliberate, be intentional, and be in love. This is Rolling Out AM, the wake up call. We'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody. Hello, shout out to everybody. And Shirley, we love you, baby.
Have a good weekend. Be safe.